to the last keynote of the day. Guys from Adform are already waiting. Sorry for this 15-minute longer wait. Łukasz Bańkowski and Christian Mikkelsen from Adform will deliver the last keynote today to you guys. They will share with you how the creativity, the data and the trading powered by publishers can deliver great results and great outcomes. It's especially good stuff for the Q4, which is supposed to make up for some of the lost revenue. So make notes, ask questions. Łukasz, Christian, stage is yours. Just let us know if you can move the slides, if we can hear you and see you. Go ahead.
Do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
Perfect. Perfect.
And can you hear me as well?
As well, yes, Christian. Nice to have you with us.
Perfect.
Perfect. So thank you for having us, YieldBird. We're going to talk today about creativity, data, and trading powered by publishers. And as you can see, there are two of us. So my name is Łukasz Bańkowski, and I've been working in Adform for 5 years as a sales manager and previously as a platform solution consultant. So I have some technical background, and with me I have Chris, who is director for publisher sales for Northern Europe, and who is really good at numbers. So we're gonna split the presentation for 2 parts. Christian gonna start from the numbers, and then I'm gonna move to some technical things. So hand over to you, Christian.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Thank you for the introduction, and greetings from Norway. So I will start with 2 quick slides telling a little bit about Adform. And then I will present some findings that we have seen in the platform for the last few months. So in Adform, we have a strong belief that technology can help move the market going forward. So I'm not going to take you through the whole timeline here, but we're an 18-year-old company, always on the forefront of innovation. We are independent and agnostic. We don't own no media or data assets, and all our platforms has been built organically and not through acquisitions. So next slide, please, Lucas. So basically what our core proposition is an integrated advertising platform where we have an SSP, DSP, DMP, and an ad server built on the same platform, which brings endless of opportunities, of course, for our users to explore and utilize. But enough about Adform for now. Let's look at some numbers and trends that we have seen in our platform across this year. So navigating through difficult times. So with the COVID-19 being perhaps the biggest challenge for advertising since the financial crisis in 2008, and we of course haven't seen the full effect nearly yet. So in these times, we know that knowledge is key, and that the overall trends doesn't really provide any tangible insights. It doesn't provide any good measurements to how to react. So as different markets react differently, they're impacted at different times. And of course, all individual companies are affected differently as well. So when we create some of the detailed reports in order to help our clients navigate these difficult times. So ironically, I will only present some overall trends today, but if you would like some more granular insights to your market, please reach out to us or your local Adform contacts. Next slide, please. So when we started digging into the numbers in early Q2, we saw a wide range of verticals being heavily affected. Travel, as we all know, collapsed and was down 82% in spend from January throughout March, and arts and entertainment were down 40%. On the other end of the scale, we saw that technology and computing, as well as personal finance, went up 2-digit percent points in the same period. So there was a lot of immediate impacts, but we also saw a lot of long-term impacts as well. So next slide, please. So I identified 4 verticals, as you can see here, and I was looking at the changes from quarter to quarter so far this year, which like Q1 is being labeled as the normal healthy, Q2 being the more dramatic quarter, and then Q3 where you might see some changes as the markets are being more opened up. So with Q1 being the horizontal line here, we see the changes going and comparing the Q2 numbers. We saw that automotive down 25%, and then shopping was down 12%. Then we saw food and drinks up 20%, and then home and garden being up 11%. So, and if you look at the changes into Q3 again, we saw that automotive was back 11%, going back to a normal level. And then shopping was actually back to normal and then some on the plus side. And then we saw that food and drink went up even more, 23% in Q3 so far. And then we have home and garden going back to normal, being 7% back down. So there, of course, no conclusion to be made from this, but it will be very interesting to follow these forward. So next slide, please. So if we look at some of the CPM trends across Europe where we use indexed numbers, of course, we see that in Europe, we saw a change in CPM from Q1 to Q2 up 15%, and then another 10% up looking at Q3 so far. And then if we compare to 2019, it was up 30% in the same periods. So if we look at West and South of Europe, we see that there's also a big increase in CPM. So 24% up from Q1 to Q2, and then another 10%. And then CE, we have also a big increase in 10%, and then another 13%. And then at last, Nordics, where we probably saw the most impact on the COVID numbers from our perspective, only being slightly different from quarter to quarter. So of course, then again, these are just high-level numbers, and there was a lot of movements like within quarters from month to month, but it's really different or interesting trends to look at. So next slide, please. So just to summarize a bit, it's been a rough few months for all, and I think from a programmatic perspective, things are looking healthier than before. And my message is no need to panic. Let's move forward and get to work. And with that, I'm handing back to Lucas, who will present some more concrete stuff to work on. Thank you. Over to you, Lucas.
Thank you, Chris. And let's start the part connected with more technical tricks. Basically, you know, I have this impression that industry is highly engaged in a series of crucial decisions connected with identity. But in the same time, I have this impression that, you know, we are not addressing the most fundamental topic, which is basically lack of user engagement. And in Adform, we do believe that to win back the user engagement, we need a smart combination of creativity, data, and trading. And just let me share a few examples of ideas from these three pillars on which can be used by publishers to build sustainable growth. So let me start from the creativity part, and I would like share some updates on the type of formats. And basically, as we all know, from the beginning of the programmatic era, the industry prioritized reach versus quality. So we end up with a big number of ad slots, but with similar sizes to, you know, promote widest adoption. But in the same time, I have this impression that the user experience has been degraded. So how to win it back? Our response, and I believe important insight would be rich media, programmatic rich media. which, as we see and as we report, notify much higher engagement rates and KPIs, basically. So CTRs, engagement rates, viewability rates, than standard banners and even native ads, which is extremely important if you remember, for instance, the presentation of Martin from the beginning of the YieldFest. He was talking about, quality of inventory and the correlation between quality and price. And basically, if as a publisher you would like to earn more on your data, you have to provide better KPIs, and not only understood as a better viewability rate, but also understood as a better click-through rates and engagement rates. And basically, our experience is that the rich media formats certified among publishers on markets we operate are perfect answer to this, to this need. And let me give you an example of that, which would be Programmatic Universal Skin, which is a format which we have implemented among a list of publishers, mostly in Italy, in Poland, because there this format is extremely popular. And why it's beneficial for marketers and for buyers, because basically it provides wider area for storytelling, so you can tell more to your users, but in the same time it offers better visibility and provides better KPIs for publishers, so publishers can monetize the upper slots for a higher eCPM. And at the top of that, we have created together with our front-end developers and webmasters on the publisher side, universal creative template with adjustment hosted on our side. So from the marketer point of view, it's super easy to run such format, because it's only one template for all certified publishers. And this drives me to the rich media part, and display part drives me to the video part of the creative part of my presentation. So as we all know, video advertising is growing pretty fast, 30% year over year in 2019. But and we have even the lockdown, we've observed even more viewers of video content, because we know all why. But in the same time, what is worth observed is a higher, even higher growth of video spent or outstreams, which is 40% year over year in 2019. And that drives me to the recommendation: why not to rethink way in which you are using your outstreams? But of course, it's worth implementing them in a smoothly way, because implementation itself is as easy as a code snippet. But then optimization and additional tricks are important. And the first one would be definitely short load time. Why it's important? Because with a shorter load time, you can basically sell more impressions, and those impressions will have higher viewability, which of course is its quality. Then within outstream, it's worth it within the ad slot used for outstream. It's extremely important to build kind of competition between video ads and banner ads, because normally, from my experience, the outstreams report much lower fill rates than banner ads. But there are solutions on the market. They are pretty easy, within which you can build competition between outstreams and banner ads, and finally show to your users the ad which have higher CPM, and you can just have better fill rate with higher revenue at the end of the day. And last but not least would be, I would suggest to make the outstream a bit more premium by selling them through deals with the right context needed by your users, because it's proven that users are highly engaged or prefer engagement with a video which is somehow correlated with the content they're reading. So with the deals with the right context passed to the platform via key value or keyword pair, you can easily make the outstreams a bit more premium and grow up the engagement rate from them. And that's the end in terms of creativity. And then let's move on to the trading part. Yeah, trading part of the presentation, which I would like from a bit sensitive topic, which will be sensitive categories. And of course, when we are talking about sensitive categories, we are talking about alcohol, pharma, and gaming, gambling, and all lotteries. And to make it clear and to be on the same page, I'm not pushing you to sell your inventory to these industries if that's illegal in your country. But if that's legal, I would promote an idea of clear strategy towards those industries, because they are during the like a very fast-pacing digital transformation processes, and programmatic as a media buying method with all of the unique advantages connected with real-time reporting, real-time optimization, all of them, is one of the key beneficiaries of this transformation. So it's basically worth to have strategy, and if you, for instance, have direct relations with such advertisers and you run direct deals with them, I just trying to convince you to offer your inventory to them also programmatically, because most probably those buyers just need that opportunity. And in the same time, I just would promote, if you don't trading with that industries, to start with private deals set from a platforms which offers you a full transparency into demand on the creativity, advertiser, landing page level. And that drives me to the very important point, which is publish and trading desk, which is basically DSP in hands of publisher. And how does it work and why it's important? And that's important because it gives you as a publisher few new opportunities. First one is of course audience extension and inventory extension. So basically you can extend your offering with a new product, which is actually buying your users on third-party domains, which basically can expand reach of campaigns you're able to run for your advertisers. You can somehow work for them as a media agency. In the same time, you can use such DSP as a tool for benchmarking. It was mentioned in the first presentation likewise. You can make a connection between your internal teams likewise. So if your marketing is running, if your marketing team is running, programmatic campaigns via media agency with an DSP in place, you can do that for them. And what we see during the first quarters of this year is a high interest in DSP among publishers. And DSP usage is easy, and why it's easy? A pretty important slide, because of the buying algorithms which are used by buyers for media buying right now. So we have data, of course, of using of our algorithms, which basically can be used for every single marketing goal you might have in a supply path connected with a like a starting from a discovery part through consideration part, decision part, and care part. And what we've seen in the first few quarters of 3 quarters of this year is that more of the bids are bid through this algorithm than via max CPM. So that means that they are pretty popular right now among buyers, and they make buying media programmatically much easier. But what does it mean for sellers? It means that that you definitely should take the insight and consider quality versus quantity. So normally our recommendations for this is, yeah, let's stay focused on quality, because those algorithms are much better in finding cheap, effective clicks and effective viewable impressions than humans. But within current situation, quantity is important likewise. Why? Because we also decrease in eCPMs in March and April, and that part is also important. So even more important than that is a reasonable source of data you are using for your floor optimization. What I would like to also mention is a flexibility in a pricing rules. What does it mean? It means that in different seasons, for instance, in Q4 or close to the Cyber Monday or Black Friday, prices are going up. But this year can be different. The Q4 could be the strongest quarter, but it's not. But we cannot be sure actually already what's going to happen, and the situation may vary from country to country. But normally I strongly recommend to take a look on the data from the previous years and use it for the next year. Of course, this year may be much different. I do also recommend, especially now, to set different floor prices for different industries. Why it's important? Because as was shown by Chris, different industries were differently affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. So for instance, I would keep prices higher for e-commerce advertisers, for food and drink, and most probably for pharma advertisers during Q4, because most probably it will be still a good year for them. And of course, keep up with the security. So especially during the lockdown, and the beginning of the outbreak, when the prices went down, it was very important to keep up with the security, because with the lower prices, there is a higher risk of bad players wanted to buy your inventory. And this drives me to the data part of the presentation. And we in Adform truly believe that the future lies on the first party, but we also believe that there is no relevant data strategy for publishers without data management platform. So that's the platform within which you can build your segments, you can profile your users, you can then build segments from your users, and you can make your data usable. And basically there are 3 the most popular business models for data sales. And the first one is about inventory extension. I mentioned on the slide with Publisher Trading Desk. The next one is direct data sales. And the last one seems to be most popular, which was mentioned during the presentation of Programmatie run by Eckhart, very difficult to pronounce name for me, excuse me. So that's pretty important, and we believe that to be prepared for the first party ID future, you should start start preparing now, and you should start from basically connection of private deals with your first-party data as a publisher. And there is almost no sell-side presentation without cookie part this year, so I'm gonna share some thoughts on that perspective likewise from our side. So to be frank, our glass is half fully. Why? Because we still we know that Chrome, which is responsible for 80% of traffic, is not affected yet. So we still have time, and we are, to be frank, we are not sure that the apocalypse in Chrome gonna happen in 2022. It maybe later. We know that first-party IDs are not affected. We know that walled gardens are affected likewise. We also know that the role of publisher will become increasingly important after the change. And finding a working solution is extremely important for media owners, because as was mentioned during Matthew's presentation, there is a visible gap between eCPMs for matched and unmatched users, which is pretty important for every publisher's revenue. So the future is first party, definitely. And what we have done in Adform, and we suggest strongly to start working on your own strategy for first party. And what we have done with the biggest publisher in Finland, with Sanoma, is that we have run proof of concept, which were successful, during which Sanoma was able to pass their first-party data through DMP to Adform DSP, and buyers via DSP was able to buy the impression based on first-party data. So we have working solution. We are in a position in which we believe that the future is first party. We have working solution. We have created a first functioning solution for matching first party IDs on Safari and Mozilla. And we believe that a very exciting development that would be a milestone for a preparation for the challenges is based on the first party IDs. And takeaways from my part, those connected with creativity are rich media opportunities and opportunities connected with video and push on video. Trading part should be connected with flexibility in your prices and clear strategy for sensitive categories buyers. Also with publisher trading desk. And data part is built on the strategy which should be built on your data, and you should think of better monetization on Safari and Mozilla now. And that drives us to the question part.
Yes, so thank you, Łukasz, for the second part of the presentation. Considering that we are already 15 minutes late and I don't want to keep the participants too long with us, I will also deliver the questions to you via email, and we will answer them this way, if it's okay with you, okay?
That's okay.
Awesome, great. So guys, thanks for great insights. Thanks for being with us today. Now we're moving to the last part of the event.